Hey guys, it is nice to be back for my little Friday Teachers Connect check-in since I didn't get this done with you guys last week because last week was a bit much. So I am back and I'm gonna share some posts that I read and felt compelled to respond to. Good morning, here is today's outfit. It is the first day of parent conference week. I always try and dress a little bit more professionally, or I try and stay professional the whole week. So I am wearing these black pants that are new from Ann Taylor Loft. It's the Julie cut, but let me see. They have that pattern on it. I'm wearing this black top from Nordstrom Rack. I'm not sure of the brand, but there's these little bows off to the side. My black flats that you guys have seen quite a bit from DSW. And then this watch that I got over the summer from Nordstrom. I'm trying to switch it up and not be the same with my earrings, so I've pulled these out of the woodwork. These are just some black earrings that I think are from New York & Company. And then this black ring here, and that's it. So I'll talk to you guys later on. Again, it's bright and early. It's 6:35. I am first going to Starbucks to pick up a coffee. And then I'm going to my classroom, obviously. My first conference is at 7:50, and there are just some things that I want to work on before that conference starts. So I uploaded a very short sit-down recap of my week yesterday. This week is a new week. I got a lot done over the weekend. I feel good about some of the progress that I made with things that I've been wanting to get organized and or started, and so I'm going into this week with a lot more optimism. I also want to say with my class this year, I did last year volunteer for the RSP cluster where they put the majority, if not all of the RSP students in one class. The RSP group in third grade ended up being split up because there were just too many of them for any one teacher to handle. So I don't regret that. My frustration in regards to what I was talking about in terms of being ineffective is that I have a couple of kids where I'm not really sure if RSP is the proper placement for them, or if what we're providing for them in the way of RSP services is enough for them to be successful. So the frustration of like the paperwork and the logistics and the bureaucracy of getting those things done is what's frustrating. And there's not necessarily anything else I could be doing at this point, so I'm doing as much as I can, and we're just gonna go from there. So I was not blindsided by having these students in my class. I've had RSP students in my class before and worked closely with an RSP teacher before at my previous school, and I actually enjoyed the process of working with my previous RSP teacher, and just the experience of working with those kids. Is just right now, I think the kids that I have need a little bit more than what they're getting, and so we're working on making that happen. So, but I do want to thank everybody for being patient and the support. I really do appreciate it. This weekend I said, you know what, I cannot let this school year get the best of me. So I put in the hours this weekend. I worked, I would probably say 95% of my weekend because I had to get my conferences ready, and then once those are ready, I was working because I wanted to, because I'm frustrated and I'm tired of not having some things organized, and so I just said I'm just gonna get organized. So I'm going in early so that I don't have a flustered morning. I'm resetting, readjusting, reassessing. Miss Robinson will win this school year, and that is just the way that it is. So yeah, I just wanted to pop on and say that. Just thank you for the support. Thank you for being patient with not having a full vlog, and you guys wish me luck, that I come out of this day feeling as lifted or as optimistic as I am going into it. So I gotta grab this coffee so that I'm properly caffeinated, and I'll try and check in with you guys at some point and share with you what I'm using for parent conferences. We hold our conferences at the 6-week mark. I think no one's in the drive-thru. Let me see. We hold our conferences at the 6-week mark, And so the nice thing is that these are just progress reports and not actual grades. But yeah, so I'm gonna pick up my coffee. Maybe I'll talk to you some more. We'll see.
Thank you for choosing Starbucks. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. What can I get for you?
I'm here to just pick up a mobile order, actually.
What was the name?
Latanya.
Latanya? Okay, give me one second. I can check for you.
Okay.
Sorry, what was it?
It was a venti vanilla sweet cream cold brew, extra ice and extra cream.
No, I'm so sorry. Unfortunately, we actually don't have any cold brew. It's not gonna be ready until 8. Do you want to do like an iced coffee or like an iced Americano? We can do it like the same way with like the same way you want it made, with just go with like shots of espresso.
Yeah, I'm just concerned. I've never had that before, so I'm just concerned.
If you do it the way you usually like with the 4 Splenda still, the vanilla and the sweet cream, it should still be pretty sweet.
Okay, I'll try that.
Okay, I'll go and have that ready for you now.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Thank you. They don't have my drink. That makes me a little nervous. They are giving me something that they believe to be very comparable, but what's comparable to one is not always comparable to the other, and so I'm a little nervous that I'm going to be spending $4 and some change on something that I ultimately might not like. And if I don't, something you guys should know about me is if I don't like something, or if I'm not happy with the service somewhere, I am real quick to call a company and let them know. I actually had to do that with Starbucks last week. I ordered a vanilla sweet cream cold brew, extra ice, 3 Splendas, an extra splash of cream because I like things sweet, and I had the lady remake it 4 times. 3 of the times I was actually in the Starbucks. The 4th time I was at school, and Mrs. Bell, Patty, stopped by to visit, and I was just telling her I cannot take this coffee anymore, and she went back to Starbucks and exchanged it, and it was still nasty. So at lunch I called Starbucks and let them know that I tried 4 times and asked if I could just have my money back from that purchase, and they gave it to me. So let's see.
There you go.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Do you want like extra Splenda just in case?
Yeah, just in case.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
You too. All right, off to school. See you guys later. I don't love it. It's not bad. I mean, I can tolerate it for a day, but I probably wouldn't order it again, and I certainly don't need a venti. So I'm going to turn the camera off here. I'm almost home, and no. You would think it's my home with the hours that I spend there, but I'm not almost home. I'm almost at work or at school. So I will talk to you guys later. All right, it's 10:28. The kids are at recess, and I'm having a snack. I have pretzels, but then there's a candy bar in the office, so I have candy also. So far, this morning is going really well. I am implementing full-blown math rotations today. So pulling a group, having kids work on different things. So I'm using this product from Lauren Santos at Core Inspiration. I'm going to show it to you right now, but it really is kind of in progress. Actually, I won't show it to you because the fonts need to be adjusted and I don't want to do her product any sort of disservice. But I'm using that, and as soon as I get that adjusted, I'll share it with you. But so far it's pretty nice because it's well laid out, it's organized for you. All you really are doing is putting your kids into groups, and everything in terms of creating the PowerPoint and the timing of everything is pretty much made. You just kind of have to tweak it the way that you want it. So I'm starting that today, and we've only done one round, and so far so good. As far as the groups that I'm pulling in math, I decided over the weekend that the groups that I'm pulling will be based on need from their iReady assessment. So when I have a little bit more time, maybe sometime after school, I'll show you guys exactly what I did, or discuss exactly what I did to create the groups. I won't be able to show you everything because I don't want to show student names or anything, but there's some resources that I'm using so that if I go on iReady, for example, the group that I'm working with here is probably the group, well, not probably, they are the group that mathematically is struggling the most. And I ranked the class on an iReady report in order from lowest performing to highest performing student in regards to number and operations. So this group that I'm working with here was the lowest scoring chunk of kids, and they're right around like kinder, first grade skill level. So when you go on iReady and you click on one of the names of the students that ended up in that lower group, it'll give you some tools that you can use, some lessons. So I just clicked on the first lesson. So today, just before they went to, not PE, but recess, we are practicing counting up to 20, which surprisingly is something a few of them need right now. So that's what my groups are going to be based on as of right now. I introduced the math lesson for the day. I opened it with the Math on the Spot video that comes with Go Math. We do the first 2 pages together. Well, let me find my tea because I'm afraid if I open that book, a student's name is going to be in it. But my intention is to start the math lesson, if I can find my math book. Sorry guys, I'm just taking you on a tour of my classroom. So I introduced the lesson using the first 2 pages where they're unlocking the problem and doing a couple more examples after that. Let me get it. So here we go. So these 2 pages are the typical starting point for every lesson. So I introduce it with these 2 pages. We're working on these together. I project this on the board. They're following along with me. Then I had them do a couple of problems from the Share and Show section on their own, and we corrected them as a class. And then when I pulled this group back, before we started practicing the iReady skills, I had them do a couple more on your own problems for today's lesson just to kind of see where they're at. And because this is a struggling group, a couple of them struggled with the concept of identifying equal groups. So I'm saying all that to say, my plan is with math to introduce the lesson for the day, do some of it together just to get them started, just to get them acclimated with the lesson, then turn into small groups. But when I'm pulling small groups in the back, during that time, it's a quick check-in with the lesson to see if they really understood it and do some corrective work really quickly. But then the bulk of the time will be focused on working on skills that they need based on their iReady performance. While the rest of the kids are either playing a math game. So this group here is playing a math game that is also from Lauren Santos. Things seem to be going well. I took her advice and I introduced that game this morning, played it with another student so that they can see how it goes. So that's one rotation. The other one is at your seat where they're working on classwork from that day's lesson. And then the other one is technology where they're working on their personalized iReady lessons. So I'm feeling good about it. I also switched seats this morning. So that always is interesting, but so far, you guys, I'm happy to report that I'm feeling like myself again. I feel better today. I think even though it sucks that I spent a lot of my time working this weekend, I think it's paying off right now, and I really do appreciate that. As always, though, I am behind schedule because it took a while to move seats and introduce that math game, and so my other instructional goal for today is to finish up this writing that we've been doing. I don't know if that's gonna happen, but we'll see. So, good day. The kids are at recess. The bell's gonna ring soon, so I will check in with you guys later on. Good morning, here's my outfit today. Today I'm wearing this top that I got from Target last March. It was something I bought for my birthday with gift cards. This white top underneath is just from Old Navy. I'm wearing some navy blue pants from Ann Taylor Loft, the Julie cut, and these gray sandals that I know you guys have seen before. And my fossil watch, some Alex and Annie bracelets, and it's always fun when your nail color matches your shoes as if you planned it. So that's it. I'll talk to you guys later. Good morning. Here's today's outfit. Today I'm wearing this denim dress from Old Navy. This is a couple years old. Please excuse Genesis while she sneezes. And then I'm just wearing these denim sandals. You guys have seen those. I'm wearing my gold Michael Kors watch. This ring is from Nordstrom. I'm not sure who it's by. And this bracelet is from Nordstrom. It has an R on it. And I'm not sure who that's by either, but that's it. I will talk to you guys later on. Hey guys, it is Wednesday. Let me turn you to the side. It's about 4:15 and I'm just in the middle of waiting for my second to last conference. So I'm in the middle of conference week. I didn't get to vlog yesterday because I was kind of back to back with conferences, and then I had this deadline that I had to meet for something exciting that may or may not happen. I won't go into details because I don't know if anything is going to come of it, but I had to get some stuff done by a certain period of time, and I intended to vlog when I got home, but I forgot. So I did take an outfit of the day. I don't know if I'll share it. Do you guys still want me to share the outfit that I wore on days that I end up not being able to vlog? Yes or no? So I don't know. I might share it, I might not. Just depends on what I do when I edit. But I am now just in my classroom. I thought I would take the time, since I have some time, to show you some things that I've kind of restructured to just make things run a little bit smoother in my classroom. So first things first, I've had 3 really good days in my classroom where I really am starting to feel like, okay, things are moving along, things are starting to get into place, kids are understanding routines and procedures. I feel like myself again as a teacher, and I'm very happy about that. So Monday was great, yesterday was great, and today was great. Now mind you, we are on minimum day schedule all week for conferences, which means we get out at 1:15 every day. So I don't know if it's great because I have just enough energy for that amount of teaching, or they're just great because things have been getting better. I'm choosing to believe that they've been going great because things are getting better, because I spent some time over the weekend thinking about how I want to change some things. So one of the things that I wanted to show you is what I decided to do with Wonders to try and make pooling small groups more manageable. So if you use Wonders, their big thing, or my understanding, is that the stories that are in your TE and in their reading writing workshop book and their literature anthology are really to be used for whole group purposes, but you're not spending a ton of time teaching the comprehension skill and the vocabulary skill through those stories. They're more kind of like opportunities to discuss or do some close reading, where you're supposed to do the meat of your instruction with the comprehension skill and the vocabulary skill, among other things, is during your small group instruction. It's always hard to schedule that because you got to make sure that your small group instruction is happening and that the kids that you're not meeting with are in place. So before I show you some of the things that I've decided to change, for those of you that are new to Wonders, or those of you that don't know Wonders, or Wonders is coming to a theater near you, the small group readers are these here. So they come with every new learning block. There's an orange book, which stands for, I think the orange one's approaching, the green one I believe is beyond, and the blue one's on level, or vice versa. But every color stands for a particular level, and then there's a purple one for ELL students. I will sometimes use the purple one that is meant for ELL students if I have students that are reading really, really low. Sorry, we gotta go back. And with the reader, what's nice about it is that they come with these cards that are also color coordinated. So on these cards, they give you questions to ask, teaching points to go over as the students read it, and they are coordinated to the books. The readers for the different groups are not always the same story. This week, it just happens to be they're all reading about a person named Judy Baca, but most of the weeks they're all reading different stories. So that's nice. Hold on. There we go. So when I'm pulling the group to the back, we're discussing the readers. What I've chosen to do is I will pull them to the back in the very beginning before they start reading the reader. Sorry guys, my camera work needs some work. So when we start the learning block and then we're meeting as a small group for the first time, the first thing that I'm doing is just giving them any sort of background information they need for that particular reader. So when we sat down and talked about this reader for the first time, we discussed the genre, which is narrative nonfiction. We talked about what that is. I had them look at the cover and discuss why someone would even write a biography about Judy Baca. What did they think Judy Baca did for a living? Just by looking at the picture on the cover. We reviewed table of contents and things like that. And then I give them their assignment to read. And then they go to their desk and they start reading on their Chromebooks because we are one-to-one. And so they sit down and read on their Chromebooks, just one chapter at a time. Then I pull the next group and then repeat the process. So initially what I was doing was, as I was assigning their chapter, I was telling them, this is a question I want you to be able to answer by the end of your reading. Now the problem was when I was giving them that, it was taking them a really long time to write down the question I wanted them to answer, whether they were writing it down from me telling them the question or they were copying the question down. And as I would watch them write the question down, I really thought that this is really inefficient. Like I'm losing minutes of time that I could be meeting with another group by just staring at my students copy down these questions. So I said, we need a solution to that. So over the weekend, I decided to incorporate Google Classroom. And I showed this to my class on Monday. So instead of writing the questions down, I've created 3 different posts on Google Classroom. So this is, I won't show that yet. This is the blue group, Judy Baca, and I assign the students that are there. So if they click on it, it will have the questions for each chapter. So chapter 1, here are the questions. Chapter 2, here's the question, and chapter 3. So I've done that for every group. And then the other thing, sorry, I'm trying to hold the camera and look at the computer at the same time. All right, sorry about that. I had to stop because the cleaning people were coming, and then I had a conference, and I got interrupted. So I think the last thing I was doing was I was showing you that I had added the questions for the small group readers onto Google Classroom so that when kids sit down, like I've met with them, gave them their reading assignment for that session, they go sit down, they read the chapter that I've assigned through their Chromebook, and then they have their little notebooks that look like this. I found these at the Dollar Tree, and they answer the questions in the notebook so that when they come back the next time, we'll start our meeting by discussing the questions they were assigned and their responses to that. So that has been working better than me having them write the questions down or copy the questions down, and it's just much more efficient, and quite frankly it makes them feel grown up because they're on Google Classroom. So I created that over the weekend, so that was nice, or that's been working out really well. And then the other thing that I made is a Wonders to-do list. So this is a Google form, and it just tells them the things that I would like them to complete when they're at their desk and not meeting with me. So I put the essential question up here: how do people from different cultures contribute to a community? I'm reminding them that their comprehension skill is story sequence and that their vocabulary skill is compound words. And then I'm telling them to place a check mark by all of the assignments you have completed from this week's to-do list. Only check the box if you have actually completed the assignment. I will be collecting these items when we take the weekly assessment. So they have some Your Turn practice book pages. These are lessons I've already taught. So I taught the phonics lesson on Final E. We read, or we did the story vocabulary for the story Room to Grow. And we've gone over compound words. We're talking about growth mindset, and one of the books that I have read to them that I will share with you just so that you guys can see it is this book about Frida Kahlo. Right here, what's really nice about this book and what worked out really well is that this theme in Wonders, we're talking about story narratives or biographies or writing that is true and real about real people. Sorry. So it was nice that I could tie this story or that personal narrative. I'm using the wrong term. It was nice, sorry, my train of thought. So it was nice that I could use this book to kind of tie in with the same genre. So I always read this during Hispanic Heritage Month. I really do like Frida Kahlo. And then there's this art assignment that I did years ago and then didn't do it for a few years that I got from, I'm pretty sure it was from Scholastic Teacher Magazine, but it used to be called Educator Magazine, where the kids do a self-portrait that looks like, or that is inspired by, where is it? Just when you need to find something is when you cannot find it. Oh, I have it, hold on. Here it is. So it is this project that I did. It's a little overwhelming sometimes, but when it's done, it really does come out nicely. So it's inspired by this piece of art. So they make their own self-portrait, and in a perfect world, it's gonna look nice like this. But a lot of times, in my experience, when the kids finish, or while the kids are doing it, they look a little questionable, and you're really nervous for them because it doesn't look like them in any way, because they do have to draw their face and use watercolors. But once they get hung up, they look great. So I always tell people it's like that scene from Clueless, I'm aging myself, where Alicia Silverstone's character Cher says that this girl is like a full-on Monet. From a distance it looks good, but when you get up close it's a mess. So that's what ends up happening with most of these. But my goal this year is to have student work that's up, that's reflective of my students. That's one of the things that we talked about quite a bit from our cultural proficiency training, and I thought this project is a great opportunity to incorporate the Hispanic culture and then just have that be a way to share our faces in our classroom. So this is my first week using this method with Google Classroom and their to-do list, and posting the questions on Google Classroom. Today was their first time kind of going through it that way. It was a little rough. You really get to see the kids that are just inherently independent and problem solvers, and the kids that just are used to their hands being held a little bit more. So I will admit there were moments where I really like lost my patience, because they were asking me, what do you mean I'm supposed to do your turn practice book page 28? Where is that? So I'm like, it is in your turn practice book page, so you're going to have to open it and turn to page 28. So it got better with time, and I think it will get better tomorrow. But at the end of the day, I felt much better because I felt like I was doing what I should be doing as a teacher, which is pulling small groups and working with that and working with them in that environment. I'm sorry guys, I'm talking really fast. So, but yeah, I have had some great days. I feel much better. I have been eating lunch in my room every day this week, and it does bring me a certain amount of peace. And right now, like psychologically, for some reason, it makes my days a little easier. I think having 40 minutes in my room just lets me calm myself down. And I think sometimes when you're in the lounge, and I know some people have said this, you can just let the stress and like the frustration of other people like seep into your system. Not that our staff lounge is negative, but everybody's just kind of worried or stressed about something, and sometimes we're all talking about it out loud, and so just hearing other people's stresses makes me stress about, should I be stressing about that thing? And then I start stressing about that because they're stressing about it, and I think I should be stressing about it. So if I stay in my room, I really can only focus about my own stresses and not everybody else's. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's my rationale right now. So I'm gonna try and get a little bit of work done. It is now 5:20. My last conference of the day is at 5:40. Today is my late day. This is the one day that I schedule them a little bit later. This one might be a little bit challenging just because the parent has some pretty like had some valid concerns about her daughter, and I think she's just kind of a little stressed. So it's just gonna be challenging to kind of keep her calm and let her know that we're working on it. So after that, I'm gonna go home. I was gonna go home earlier and let Genesis out and then come back, but when I do that, I always like lose track of time. So I'm gonna say goodbye. I will see you probably tomorrow. Don't think I'll be checking in when I get home. So I'll see you guys then. Oh my goodness, you guys. My face is shining. I'm not gonna change it though, because I'm getting ready to take a shower. But it's about 7:15 or so. Let me go turn down my TV. And I had to get back on because a very important moment just happened. This is a moment that I have been waiting for, along with Megan from Too Cool for Middle School for weeks. I've been waiting so long that there was a part of me that thought this experience that we had together never actually in fact happened, because we had no empirical evidence. Everybody else was getting this in the mail and we were not. So we were just like at our wits end because we were just so anxious and excited. So I finally got my copy of Educator magazine in the mail. This is the photo shoot that Megan and I did. I think we did this in March, maybe April. It was definitely spring. We were still in session for school and it was a lot of fun. It was a huge honor to even be asked to do it. So we are talking about our like fashion philosophy and the things that we think about when we're like shopping or getting dressed. This is the cover that we took. We're outside of her school, and then on the inside, you know, just to give you a little behind the scenes stuff. Oh my gosh, you guys. So to give you a little bit behind the scenes stuff, some of these pictures, like, they came out cute, but when you're taking the picture, you just really feel awkward. Like there, I feel like I'm saying peekaboo, and you know, but it came out cute. I just was surprised because they included a picture of Barbie's Instagram account. So one of the questions I think they asked me was, who is like, where do I go to for inspiration? And I told her I go to Barbie's Instagram account. And the person that interviewed us, and she kind of looked at me like she thought I was joking, or she didn't really know what to think, or she's like, this girl's crazy. And I said, I'm dead serious. Barbie's Instagram account is on point. I know that she's a doll, but she has some great outfits, and her friends are living their best life. So they actually included a copy of that in there, or a copy of one of Barbie's Instagram posts. So if you're not following Barbie, I think it's at Barbie Style, you need to, because Barbie, she's doing the most. So I just wanted to jump on and do that. I'm going to read it. I haven't read it. And what's really nice is they kind of included some information about like the Secret Santa collaboration we did, and just how those of us on YouTube really try and find ways to kind of work together. So I thought that was really cool. But it's here. I'm gonna take a shower, eat some dinner, and just read through it. So yeah, that was fun. So I will talk to you guys tomorrow. You know what, I'll include, I think I have some footage of that day. I'll try and include some after this clip so that you can kind of see it. I don't know how much I'll be able to include, but there should be some footage of that day right after this. And I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.
Being appropriate,
Yeah,
and
being comfortable
stylish,
and stylish.
comfortable, and and principals do not like distressed
You know,
jeans.
it really depends. My last principal was extremely conservative, so we could only wear jeans on Friday at that school. But
Oh.
she wanted no type of distressing on your jeans. The school I just transferred to this year, the principal's much more lax, and you can wear jeans any day. And I don't think she would mind, you know, having a repeat here or there. So I think just being aware of what your admin wants and then making sure you can find, you know, clothes that are appropriate to what they're asking for, yet you still feeling good about yourself.
Where do you shop?
The bulk of my clothes right now come from Old Navy. I just feel like Old Navy is really good at giving you things that are on trend, but they're reasonably priced.
I'm sorry, giving you things that are what?
Giving you things that are on trend, but are very reasonably priced for someone that's not trying to spend a whole lot of money on clothes. Target has really come up over the years. I buy quite a few things from there. Good morning. Here is my outfit today. I'm wearing this top from Nordstrom Rack. I got it over the summer. It was in one of my hauls. I'm wearing these gray pants from Kohl's. These were also purchased over the summer. This is the Tory cut of pants. The black flats that I wear quite often. And then I have this necklace here that I got from Nordstrom Rack. And a two-tone Michael Kors watch. And that's it. So have a great day, everybody.
That's not actually her real friend because her friend stole the bracelet. Because her friend steals.
You guys have about 30 seconds.
Steals her jade bracelet. No, let's put jade bracelet. Her bracelet. Jade bracelet. Jade. That's too wordy though.
Okay, so I'm gonna try and make sure I'm looking at the right spot on my camera because I'm using my phone. The battery in my camera has died. It is Friday and I am at recess, and I was going to try and get on to share with you this document that I use for parent conferences that I really liked. I am officially done with my parent conferences, which is a great feeling to have. I have no conferences on Friday, and that's the first time that's happened in a very long time. So last Friday, one of my friends that actually works here gave me and Jenny and Peggy a copy of a document that she made, but she teaches first, so it had to be tweaked a little bit. So I decided to use it, and what I like about it is it really helped me to stay focused during my conferences because we have 20-minute slot intervals. So this form just kind of summarized everything that you would want a parent to know during parent conferences at the progress report period. And I didn't feel rushed. I just felt like very in control and that the conference was balanced. So I'm gonna flip my phone around to show it to you. Hopefully I can pick up my vlogging camera or charge it somehow between now and the end of the day, because Liza and I are meeting up after school to go visit a former student of mine, and I'll talk about that a little bit more as we head there. But of course, I know you guys want to see Liza because she's always fun, but let me show you this document. One sec. Okay, so here it is. I changed the font and everything just to kind of match my style. So she had this in here already. So we started every conference, or I started every conference with student strength. So this was obviously already filled in when they met with me. I prepped all of this over the weekend. So when I was working all weekend, I was getting this together for every student. So areas of strength and then areas of improvement. These are in terms of classroom behavior. So I would just kind of point out a couple of things they did well. If there was areas for improvement, I mentioned that. If there wasn't, I let them know I didn't really have anything that I was concerned about. Then we would go over their iReady scores in both reading and math. I would let them know if overall they scored above target, at target, or below target. My friend added this part. I changed it a little bit because I think she had something in here that was very specific to first grade, and I think I took that out. And then in each section, these were the different categories in reading. So I would label or highlight the ones where they had the lowest score. So it was an opportunity for growth. So these were the categories in reading. These were the categories in math. Then we shared their Fontes and Pinnell levels, whether or not they were above target, at target, or below. I let all parents know that at the beginning of the year, we want them to be at a level M or an N, and we want them to end the year at a level P or higher. And then I gave their current level. Same with AR. what was their independent reading level, what their goal is for the end of the trimester. And then down here, and I would let them know as I'm going over this that we're going to look at the reports more specifically after this. Down here, just gave them some reminders that I wanted them to be aware of about technology pieces that they have, my website. I gave one tip for reading, one tip for math. Basically for reading, I said, you know, just talk to your kids about their reading, asking them what they're reading, how do they feel about what they're reading, what are the characters doing, why do they think they're doing it. And then for math, just asking them to kind of pick 1 or 2 problems with their child every night on their homework and have them explain and articulate their thinking as they completed the math problem. So I did that, and then after I shared this form, then we went over their iReady reports. I showed them the score, showed them their child's ranking in each of these subcategories, and after that we went on to their report card and discussed that and whether or not there were any questions there. So all in all, I feel like that method worked really well. I got all my conferences done. I think I might have had 1 or 2 that ran over, and but only by a couple minutes. So I wanted to share that with you. I don't know if I can attach this as a document or somehow, but I mean, you have an image of it to kind of see. You can create something similar, but I think the bottom line is it's nice to have a cover sheet where you quickly go over a student's strengths, some areas of growth, like summarize any sort of diagnostic testing that you did, and then go into more detail with the actual reports themselves. So I didn't really have any difficult conferences. The ones that I was a little concerned about were fine. There were a couple parents that didn't necessarily love some of the grades or the what is the word I'm looking for? The grades or the grading procedure at this point in their child's schooling, but they were very polite about it. I kind of clarified some things, and to a certain extent on some of that, we had to agree to disagree, but they were very nice about it. And I only had 1 no-show, so I do have 1 that I need to reschedule, and it's a parent that I really need to talk to, so I'll be working on that. But I'm going to say this now before I forget, but I had a really good week. I think that things are finally starting to get into place, and really a couple people have checked in and asked me how things were going, and I basically said that this week my determination is winning. Like, I am determined to not be defeated by like the frustrations that I feel or the things that I need, and let that kind of get the best of me. So I've had a great week. I'm optimistic that next week is going to be just as good, if not better. And then we're going to go from there. So that was the bell. My recess is over, so I got to go get the kids. When they come back, I'm going to share this with you because I like to share the books that I found. We are learning about Frida Kahlo just because I like her. And I forgot I had this book. I found it yesterday. So we're going to be reading, or I'm going to be reading that book to them after recess. So I will check in with you guys later. Hey guys, it is nice to be back for my little Friday Teachers Connect check-in, since I didn't get this done with you guys last week because last week was a bit much. So I am back, and I'm gonna share some posts that I read and felt compelled to respond to. It's about 7:15-ish. The last time I spoke to you, it was recess, and I was telling you that I was going to meet up with Liza after school to go visit one of my former students. We did that, and I couldn't film because my camera was not charged. And we went to visit her at her house, and I wasn't going to necessarily film the student in her house, but I definitely wanted to include Liza in there, but I didn't get a chance to because my camera was dead. So sorry about that. But the student that I visited, she is now an 8th grader. I had her in 5th grade. And I've stayed in touch with her family over the years because I had her as a 5th grader, and prior to that I had her brother as a 5th grader, and they are about 4 years or so apart, so I've known the family for a while, and they're just one of those families that stick with you for a lot of different reasons. And this particular little girl is just another one of those little girls that I admire as a little girl. She was, and still is, very smart, super athletic, very self-motivated, just active and involved, and just determined to do well. So when we heard that her spirits were a little down because of her injury and having to stay at home for a while, Liza and I decided to visit her. And even though Liza was not her teacher, when Liza and I taught together, it really was as if Liza's students were mine and vice versa, because we just kind of interacted with our classes that way. So she knows the family quite well also. We were there for about an hour. Then I went to DSW. I returned some shoes, came home, walked Genesis, went on TeachersConnect, and here I am. So the first question that I want to share, I think this is actually the first one that I responded to, is from an anonymous person, and it says, help. That's how it starts. I am a third-year teacher, about 5 weeks into the school year. I have recently moved and am living in a new state, teaching at a new school and a new grade. I currently teach transitional kindergarten. He or she taught first before. I do not have a lot of support and I'm feeling on my own. I've done a lot of research and feel like I'm trying something new all the time. It feels like nothing I do is working and I'm feeling very lost, discouraged, and overwhelmed. I feel like I've forgotten how much I love teaching. I don't know what to do. So given the week that I had last week, I definitely wanted to respond to that. So I told this person that even though we have different reasons for feeling that way, I felt the same way. And basically what I said is the first thing she needs to do is regroup. Hence the title of my blog last week. Like, I literally had to just mentally regroup and ask myself, what's not working right now for me as a teacher, for my students in my classroom, and what can I do to solve that? Do I need to restructure some things? Do I need to change some things? Which I did, and I shared with you guys in this week's blog. And then there was also a moment where I had to just say, you need to like get it together, LaTanya. Like, you need to suck it up, pull yourself together, because you cannot let these things that are like somewhat out of your control in some regards, or not going the way that you want, you cannot let those things defeat you and prevent you from doing the job that you know you need to do and that you are capable of doing because you've done it before. So I had to just say, you need to get the stuff done. Like, whatever it is that needs to be done to fix whatever is broken, you need to just get it done. And so that's why I spent my weekend last weekend just working. And I think I went into Monday just with pure determination and resolve that we are going to get this fixed. Miss Robinson is going to teach, and these kids are going to learn under any circumstance, like no matter what. So that helped me out quite a bit. The second thing I told her, I keep assuming it's a girl. I'm sorry, it could be a boy. The second thing I told this person is that while it's great to research and go out and seek out more information, new information about different things you might want to implement in your classroom, that can be very overwhelming because you're hearing all these new ideas, all these new theories, all these great ideas that you're going to want to implement right away, but you can't. There's no way that you can implement multiple things at the same time. So I told her that maybe she needs to focus on the one thing that she's the most passionate about in terms of implementing that in her classroom, and just focus on that this year and save the rest for a later time, like another year, because otherwise you're just going to drive yourself crazy. So every year there tends to be something new that I'm trying, and I think some of my frustration this year is because this year I actually was trying a couple of things. Now luckily I've been able to kind of smooth it out a little bit to fix it. Actually no, I take that back. I was trying a couple of things, one of which was small groups in math. That has really kind of progressed this past week. And the second thing was I was going to teach math using intentional math plans, where I was kind of restructuring the chapter and kind of modifying things in Go Math based on some suggestions from Achieve the Core and this training that I went to. And while I think that it's a good idea, I just realized it was just too much for me to handle this year, because by doing that I had to constantly remember, do I need to modify the quiz based on the adjustments that I made? Do I need to modify the test based on the adjustments that I made? And then I just had a moment where I had to say, you know what? Last year, you followed the TE pretty much to the T. As each lesson came, you made adjustments that you felt were necessary to those lessons, or scrap lessons that you thought were not necessary. Your scores were good. So let's just, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Let's just go back to what you were doing, because trying to do that and implement small groups at the same time was too much for me. So I had to take a step back from that. So that's what I'm suggesting to this person. Just kind of pick the one thing that you really want to do, focus on that, and then maybe the other things can come at a later time. The other question I responded to, I have to find it. The next one is from Callie. I almost feel like I responded to one of her questions before. If I did, sorry, Callie. If you, but this one stuck out to me because it's kind of an aspect of teaching that I'm very interested in. She says, one of the hardest things to do as a teacher is teach a child who doesn't want to learn. How do you handle kids that don't care about their education or are just downright lazy? I hate to see them fail because I know they can do it and they are really smart, but I can't make them do the work if they don't want to. How do you handle this? So my response to that was super short, and I'll elaborate a little bit more here. So I said, don't let them see your frustration, and make it clear that you are truly invested in helping to make sure they do well in school. I agree with the idea of making connections, with the idea that making connections will give you the most leverage. So we've all been there. You have a kid, you are working hard, and it just doesn't seem like this kid wants to learn at all. I really believe that even in those behaviors, I think sometimes they're just trying to test you to see if they're gonna fall for the image of them that they're trying to give you. That they're trying to see if you're gonna really believe that they really don't care, when somewhere deep down in there, they do care. So my thing is, you don't want them to ever feel that you have gotten to that point where you're like, well, you just don't care. Because if they think that you don't care, then that will just cause them to continue to not to care, or to not care even more because they think that their teacher doesn't even care. So you got to really hold it together to not let them see that you have a moment where you are questioning whether or not they care, or that you think that they're being lazy. And I would really like veer from using that word because it always has such a negative connotation. When I have kids like that, and I have, that's when I really go into get on my soapbox about the power of education and what education does for you, and how you can be successful, and how your education will open up doors, and that it's something that you can be proud of and no one can take it from you. And you'd be surprised, even third graders I found really latch on to that. And I really do believe teaching growth mindset, as light and as not super in depth that I go into it in my class, it is something that kids really do pick up on and they hold on to it. So I've had a couple parents say, yeah, like Jenny's son Brennan is in my class, and she said that they were watching some kind of a nature show and an animal was trying to do something and kept failing but kept trying again. And he said to Jenny, right now that animal is really showing a very good growth mindset. And so even for them to be able to recognize that and see that in the failure, you got to get back up and try again, I think sharing that idea with kids like that would be helpful. So just letting them know, okay, you're not able to do it now, but I'm not giving up, and I'm going to keep pressing you and keep pushing you because I care enough about you to do that. So I've always told the kids, if I didn't care about you, I would just let you go on about your own devices and not really try, and say, well, if you're not going to try, I'm not going to try, and just keep it moving. And that's what I would do if I didn't care. But I tell them I take what I do very seriously, and I want you to learn, and I'm going to push you. Like I told my third graders, I am going to push you, and it should feel like a push. And I equated it to being like a coach. I said, so if you play a sport and you're not doing something well, you're not doing something right, your coach is not going to just let you keep doing it wrong, or keep not doing it well enough, or as good as they know you can do it. And I said, so it's the same for me. I'm just your academic coach. So I'm going to be pushing you. So that is what I would suggest. I think there's a couple of more that I did respond to, but those were the two that probably stood out to me the most, that I was really the most excited about responding to. So with that being said, I'm just going to give my quick reminder. It's to make sure you've not just joined Teachers Connect, but make sure you're logging on and participating and interacting there. I know that they are working on just continuing to create a site for teachers where you feel like there's some information there, some encouragement, some advice, some support. If you want to join Teachers Connect, there is a link in the description box of my video, so you can do that as well. But I'm just so thankful, you guys, that I had such a I want to say this week was just very redeeming to me. Like, just, it made me feel better. I felt like myself. I think the work that I put in over the weekend and all the self-talk I did with myself paid off. My kids made some really good progress. We got math rotations like fully started with the kids moving from one place to the next. I will try and show you that product that I've been using in the next vlog. There were some things that I needed to kind of fix with it, and I didn't want to show it in an unfinished state in case it's something that you might want to buy. Our small groups with Wonders went really well. There was a little bit of like bumps in the road with them just getting adjusted to the system of small groups and what they're doing at their seat versus what they're doing when they're meeting with me. And today I was working with the small group, and I felt like I just had a moment where I looked up. The kids that were at their seat were working at their seat. They knew exactly what they needed to be working on, and they were doing it. The kids I was working with were really into the book that we were reading together, and they were finding compound words, and we were talking about the vocabulary skill and sequencing words, and it was all running really well, and I felt good about it, and I was happy about it. So, and I got some things organized in the pod. There was a lot of clutter in there, and I needed to get that cleaned up, so I spent that time after school doing that today. So, great week. I'm so happy to report that I feel much better. I'm not gonna retire, it turns out. I'm not gonna quit teaching as of right now. So thank you everyone who sent a message, who checked in on me, who sent me words of encouragement, who told me they are feeling the same way so as not to make me feel like I was alone. I really do appreciate it. I hope you guys have had a great week, and that you have had a restful weekend, and that I wish you a great week going forward, whatever you do, whether you're a teacher or something else. Other than that, please give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell so you know that when I upload, you will be the first to know. And please share my channel with anyone that you think would be interested in following the journeys of a teacher and her ups and downs. So, thanks for watching. I will talk to you guys Monday, and I hope all is well. Bye, guys.